Steve and Alan's pro tips in a short time. Learn a lot.
Hey there, Alan.
Hey, Steve. Today we're diving into a strategy that can both engage your students and reduce your own stress. It's all about delegating.
Well, that works in theory, but I think sometimes it can be hard to know what exactly we can delegate to students, right?
True, but the key is picking the right things to delegate. So I'm going to share three categories with you: organize, teach, and appreciate. You can delegate some of these things, and you won't only lighten your own load, but you'll give students opportunities to take ownership and develop new skills.
All right. Tell me about organize.
Students love to feel like they're in charge of something tangible, and organizational tasks can be perfect for that. That can include anything from distributing and collecting music folders to managing equipment like percussion instruments, or even just making sure that every stand has a sharpened pencil before rehearsal.
So that sounds good for older students and especially band, orchestra, and choir, the ensemble settings. What about general music or younger students?
Oh, yeah. In a general music classroom, you can have students be in charge of organizing small instruments, keeping track of materials, or even handling minor repairs like gluing a broken maraca. It's cool how empowering little responsibilities can be for kids, and it saves you some time you'd otherwise spend on those little things.
All right, elementary general music teachers, let us know the minimum age or grade of a kid for whom assigning a maraca to be glued would be an appropriate project. We seriously want to hear from you because we don't know the answer to that. All right. So this all works so far and giving us one fewer thing to worry about when prepping the classroom. What's next?
Teach. And I know it might feel weird or irresponsible to delegate teaching, but it can be effective and empowering, like pairing an older student with a few younger ones to work on music together, either outside of class or even in a separate room during class. It gives them a chance to reinforce what they know by explaining it to someone else.
And this, in my experience, I see more often when I'm watching elementary general music. They tend to get in groups and help and teach one another more. I see that less in the secondary ensemble classes where it tends to be more of the teacher is the music director or a conductor, and then we have the one large group. Has that been your experience as well?
Yes. And the teachers who do let go of that total control of the process, they end up with students who are a lot more invested in the program and they spend a lot less time on notes and counting and rehearsal.
Do you have any other examples you could share?
Well, you've mentioned general music students can do it. I think something else that we learned from a previous guest was that a student could teach a favorite childhood song to a small group. That's kind of a cool thing that can happen. The other thing I've seen students do is teach someone how to play their instrument, even if they're never going to play it in a concert or whatever. Just kids learning to appreciate how much work it is to play a different instrument is kind of a cool thing to do. Now, that's not necessarily a thing to delegate, but it's a way to extend that particular activity.
I like that these examples so far are actually useful for the learning process and not just delegating for the sake of it. I think sometimes as teachers, we know that we are supposed to do this, and we just kind of go through the motions of finding some way to empower the students as teachers without really thinking about what will help them in the learning process.
Yeah, they might need a little bit more guidance than we might think, but it is worth making time to provide that guidance because you end up giving them leadership opportunities and they end up being even more invested in the class because they are contributing in a meaningful way. Makes it their class.
All right. I already forgot. What's the third category? Sorry.
The third is appreciate.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Students can play a big role in helping to show appreciation to those who support your program. You could create an appreciation team of students who are responsible for identifying people who contribute to the success of the class or the ensemble. Could be bus drivers, principals, custodians, or even other teachers.
All right. So there's a group of students who are silently appreciating the bus drivers. Got it.
No, they'll do stuff. They'll write thank you notes. They'll make small appreciation cards. They can create a list of people to recognize during a concert or event. It's a little thing, but it does teach students the importance of gratitude and an attitude of gratitude, as some like to say, and it builds a positive community around the program.
Got it. So not just appreciating, but actions of appreciating.
Yeah.
And I bet that's probably pretty meaningful for those people receiving the notes if they come from the students instead of, of course they're going to appreciate if I write them a card or a note, but I think it's probably even cooler when it comes from the kids.
Yeah, it's one thing for us to say thank you, but when a student takes the time to express appreciation, it really resonates. And it doesn't even have to be timely. Sometimes it can mean even more if it ends up coming like a month or two later. It's just a great way to learn the value of acknowledging the efforts of others, which is something we want our students to get.
All right, I'm going to quiz myself here. The three categories. You can delegate, you can have them teach, and you can have them appreciate. No. Hang on. All of this is delegating. So it's organize, teach, and appreciate. So organizing materials or instruments, they can teach each other, or we can have them perform acts of appreciation for others who support the music classroom. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So delegating those three things can make a difference, and you get more time to focus on the bigger picture, and students become more engaged and responsible.
Anything else?
I'll just start small. Don't do all this at once. Just pick one or two things to delegate and see how it goes. And you might be surprised at how eager those students are to step up.
All right. Sounds practical. Thanks, Alan.
That's my pleasure. I hope all our listeners are feeling a little bit more in control and a little less stressed as a result of this. And before the outro music fades in, our insiders will have access to a bonus episode where I took the script, put it into Chat GPT, and I said, make Steve sound really sarcastic. And it turned out to be really funny. We'll give you a little sample of that right here, but I'm afraid our insiders will get the whole thing.
So my sarcasm in this last one that we just did, like it's going to be even more sarcastic than that.
Just you wait. Just you wait, folks. The answer is yes.
I can't wait to read this script. Sounds good.
Here we go. You can even create an appreciation team that makes a list of people to thank and organizes small gestures of gratitude. It builds a positive culture.
Yeah, because nothing screams heartfelt gratitude like being handed a thank you note by a kid who was forced to write it.
Steve and Alan's Pro Tips in a short time. Learn all.